Hello guys, welcome back. Today let's learn about XPaths and also understand how XPaths are important for QA engineer when he's doing automation. So for automation, you have to tell the tool that you are using. You might be using Selenium or QTP. Whatever tool you are using, you should tell it the address of the element that you want to choose from your application. For example, you are asking your friend to come and pick you up. You should give your friend the exact address where you are. Only then he'll be able to come, right? So in this case, our friend is whatever automation tool we are using, and we are telling our tool where to go so that it can perform the operation that we are asking it to do, maybe clicking or checking something exists or not. Whatever operation that we are asking our tool to perform, it is our responsibility to help the tool identify the element. So XPath is a way to locate an element in your web application. There is one more way to locate an element wherein you can use the CSS selector, but most commonly we will use XPaths. So XPath will help you identify the element on your web application so that you can give it to your automation script. So let's see how that works. In I'll get started with Firefox. In Firefox, we have an excellent feature to locate the XPath of an element. So let's take, for example, today's testing learning we'll do on LinkedIn site. So LinkedIn, we have something called, we have a text box here. So in Firefox, we have an ability to find the XPath directly by adding two add-ons here. One is called FirePath. Just check for FirePath in your extensions. Here you go, the first one. Click on install. Along with FirePath, you also need Firebug. So click on that and click on install. So we have installed FirePath and Firebug add-ons in Firefox browser. This is very helpful for us for getting the correct XPaths. Now I came to LinkedIn and now I need to refresh this, and when I right click on the element I want to inspect, right? Oops, this is not Firefox. Whenever we install add-ons, Firefox will ask us to restart so that it gets activated. So I will come here and then I'll click on restart now. Alright, let's see what's happening here. Open Firefox again and we'll open LinkedIn site. Right click here, and now you see inspect in FirePath option here. So after installing these two add-ons, automatically you will, after restarting your Firefox, you will find this option. So once you right click here, select this inspect in FirePath, and now Firefox already gave you a XPath that you can directly use in your automation script. So this is one way of identifying XPath of an element. So whenever you want to do, so whatever you want to do in this first name text box, if you want to send anything here, if you want to type, if you want to select, you always have to use this XPath to locate that element. Now coming to Chrome browser, this is in this Firebug and FirePath add-ons are only on Firefox browser. But what in case of Chrome? So just try to open the same thing. So what we will do is, not all companies will allow us to use Firefox. There are some restrictions in my previous companies where we were not supposed to use Firefox. Our default browser was always Chrome and IE. So in that case, you need to customize your own XPaths. You need to write your XPaths and see how it is working. Because in order for your automation script to identify an element, you should tell it how to locate it, right? You should give it the proper address. So let's understand how we customize our own XPaths in Google and IE browsers as well. So here I am in the first name text box. Come here and right click and then click on inspect. Now once you click on inspect, it will give you the entire details of this particular, when you just hover over this line, right, it will highlight what details they are. So it is highlighting the first name text box here. So whatever you see in this blue is the details that are given by the code. So it says it is of type input, I'm sorry, it is of type text, and then it has a name called first name, and it also has an ID. So always I would suggest go by ID. IDs generally will be very unique, so the probability of ID getting changed is like very low. So basically I would suggest go by identifying your XPath using an ID. Class is also one more identifier. Now let us see what we got. So Firefox already gave us ready-made using the ID, right? So in Chrome, let us try building our XPath using class name. So double slash, always try to use double slash, because double slash signifies to look for any child or any grandchildren of the element inside the parent element. So look for anything, double slash asterisk, look starting from the root node for something at the rate, you have to specify what it should look now. It should look for class, which is equal to, give the same class name whatever you see here in the blue line. It says reg hyphen first name, FIRSTNAME. This is the class name that we got. So this is the XPath that you customized in your Chrome. So just try to see whether this is correct or not. If you paste it in your Firefox browser, the element should highlight. Is it highlighting? Yes, it is. So you can identify an element using a class as well. Now let us do the same thing. Come to come to IE. Let's see how we customize it in IE. I'm going to the same site. In IE also, right click on the text box and then click on inspect element. Whenever you click on inspect element, see the same way how we got in Chrome, we got all the details of the element here. So its first name is, its name is first name. So this time let us try to identify this element using its name. So I'm using IE11 here. Start with the root node, anything from there which starts with name, something like first name. So it's exactly how the code gave us. So the name of this text box is first name and I have given the same. Now try to see whether this is valid or not in. But I'm coming to Firefox to check whether whatever I have written or whatever I've customized my XPath is true or not. So whenever you click, it says that it is matching, right? It got highlighted. That's how you will come to know. Now if I change any of these, right, for example negative test, it should not show me any elements. There are no elements found. So or when I click it, I get it. So this is how we identify elements in Chrome as well as in Firefox also. Sorry. Okay, so now try to identify the element using its link here. So we can do it by clicking on this button and then directly clicking on the link or whatever element we want. Either you can do right click or you can use the shortcut here which says click an element in the page to inspect. So when I do this in Firefox for forgot password, I got this XPath directly which we know that it is ready-made. So for example, this is for link Firefox gave me. In the earlier example, if you see, Firefox gave us XPath using the ID, but we built XPath in Chrome using its class name, and also the other one is in IE 11. We gave the name of the particular element directly and found the XPath. So for this forgot password link, Firefox gave us this. Now come to Chrome browser and then right click on this and click on inspect. When you click on inspect, you will see that the blue line here. So these are the properties of this particular element here. So it started with A. Anything which starts in A is something called anchor tag, which specifies that it is a link. So you know what is this, and then you also know that href. Href is nothing but the link. So when you click this, you try to right click on this. Oops. Come here. Right click on this and open in a new tab. Now inspect this element again. So by opening it in a new tab, you know what link you will get when you click on that forgot password. So let's copy that here. We are doing this in Chrome. This is how you customize your XPaths, guys. So you got the reference or the href link here. Now start your XPath always // which means start from the root, and then check for something which has an anchor tag of href. What is the node that you're looking? Href property, which is equal to, and close this in a single quote as per the syntax. Close it. So what you have done here, you have started from the root node and you are looking for something which has an anchor tag A and whose href property, okay, hyperlink is this. So let us see if this is valid or not by checking it in the Firefox browser. Come to Firefox browser and paste whatever we have written. Yes, so you see the forgot password is highlighted. So this is the way. If you don't have the XPath, Firepath and Firebug, you can write your own XPath. We just came up with our own XPath looking at the code here. So there is another way you can do this. Because you know what kind of text it has got, right? Come to IE browser and then again right click and say inspect element here on IE. We are just doing the same thing in 3 different browsers and coming to all the different possibilities of XPaths. So try to always identify the unique thing. So as I said, ID is the unique identifier, and when I clicked on forgot password, I got something called forgot password here. You see the text forgot password. So we know that this particular element or link has got text forgot password. So let us try to identify it using its text IE11. How we are doing is, again start from the root node and come to the anchor tag and check for something which has got text of, give the text in a single quote, forgot password. Okay, now let us put the same thing whatever we got in our Firefox and check whether this is valid or not. No, I didn't get anything highlighted here. It did not highlight forgot password. Why did I do anything wrong? Let me check the code. So the text here, yes, I got it. So the text here has, if you look at the UI, right, forgot password question mark. I missed question mark here, so it's thinking forgot password is something else. So let me complete it, and now I will check for this in the and see whether this is the correct XPath or not. So when you practice this more, you don't have to depend on XPath Firefox at all. You can directly customize your XPaths and give it to your script. So when I check here, yes, it is highlighted, so it means that this is correct. So when for the link, Firefox gave us this XPath. Chrome, we customized it using href, and in IE11 we used the text and identified the element. So this is how we do it in n number of ways and drive to our script. Now there is something, for example, right here I want to tell you about indexing. So come here, come down and see the join now here. So I want to inspect this element. Now when I inspected this element, it said that it is input and the type of this input is submit. So I will try to identify. I'll come to Firefox and I will write my own XPath here. Start with / asterisk at the rate of type is equal to submit. Now when I set at the rate of type is equal to submit, when I'm identifying something which of type submit, which is of join now here, I got, if you see, search is also highlighted, join now is also highlighted, and sign in also is highlighted. So with the same XPath I found three different elements here. So when I give this to my script will definitely fail, because it will fail to understand on exactly which element it has to go and perform the operation. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to make use of indexing. So if you see, there are three different elements, right? 1, 2 and 3 with the same type, which is submit. So enclose everything in a bracket and try to identify using, now we want join now, right? So let's see if this is coming second round. Yeah, when I give it, now nothing is highlighted. If you see, sign in is not highlighted and search is not highlighted, only join now. So it uniquely identified it, the element. So by using indexing, even if you have number of elements on your page having the same type of identifier, you can correctly find the index of that element and drive it to your script. So this is what I wanted to talk about indexing today. That's very important concept. Make use of index to uniquely identify your element. The better you identify your element, the less number of times your script will fail. So make sure you always try to give the granular level. Make use of this asterisk, so you don't care like what happens here, until from the root till this type, whatever is changing, you don't have to change your script at all. You don't have to touch your XPath. Only if it finds of element of type submit which is coming in the second place, that's when it will go and click or do whatever operation it has to perform. So also if you see something like this, right, ABCD, let me come up with one XPath. So it says li of 14. So anything which says li is list. So let me show you in Chrome browser. Come here, inspect. Okay, right, now you got the element and its name is n. So you can always identify it using, there is something on a function called string function here. So what you can do is you can always try to use string functions to find out the text. So you have to do it this way. Normalize space of text is equal to for example, you want to find something called more here. Okay, so you want to see what is there with text more, and then close this. So on entire starting from the root, it will check for something which has got text more. So copy this, come to your Firefox and see if it is working. Now we are expecting more to be highlighted. Yes, it did. So this is one more easier way. But the thing is, if you have two or three more in the same page, like with this kind of text, it will identify three matchings, and you have to use index to correctly identify one particular element that you want. And when I talk about list, right, if you click on this and inspect element, you know that it is of list 11. Anything which is li says list. Now you don't care about anything here. I would suggest start from here. Okay, and then remove everything starting from root to this ordered list. Find out something which is coming in the 11th place. So even this should work now. Yes, see, n is case highlighting. So by customizing it, like rather than directly using, now you see we got two. One is for list, right? We came up with this, and Firefox gave us this, right? So always I would suggest use your own XPath, because now if something in the id layout main or in this div changes, right, your XPath will fail. So in our case, it doesn't care whatever, because we are starting with root and we put an asterisk here. It will not care what changes the others are having, unless it finds the correct ordered list, and then the list element of 11 is what it will select. And if you come here, browse by country, we have number of links here. So all these links, anything here can be either identified using its text or its list. So li of 15 is one way, or you can always find star text equal to, give this text, what does it say, chili. I would suggest copy paste as it is to avoid any typo. So see, it identified the element correctly. So the advantage of using this text function is, for example, tomorrow this particular element is something new is added. So now this might become 15 to 16. So it might increment, right? And something new in the a with some a is added, right? If any of these is incremented, you don't have to care about the count at all. You always know what you want to click. So you come here and identify it by using your text, and that's what you click it and perform whatever operation you want. So this is how you locate an element and come up with XPaths like this and drive it to your script. So dynamic XPaths are always recommended, because when you completely customize your own XPath, it is always good that your script will not fail. And again, you should make sure that your XPaths are updated. So once in a while, you have to check whether all the elements are correctly being located with your XPaths that you are giving in your script. And if any changes are required, you need to update XPaths. Always make sure you inform your development team that you are using the XPaths as your script inputs, because they would not know, and if they change something, our script will fail. When you are working with continuous integration and your Jenkins job fails, and that's when you will come to know that there is some problem, some issue with the XPath. You always coordinate this, and well in advance let your development team know that you are using these XPaths to identify your elements, web elements. So if you have any questions, feel free to post it and I will reply as soon as possible. Happy testing, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.